Hey there, my friend. This is Dr. Anthony Balduzzi, founder here at the Fit Father Project and the Fit Mother Project. And I get asked by men and women all the time, Dr. A, is fruit bad for weight loss? Do I need to stop eating fruit if I'm trying to go on a diet? Do I need to be worrying about the sugars? And do I need to be on a super low carb diet to lose weight? Well, I'm going to cover all of that in today's video. I'm hopefully going to give you a few compelling reasons on why fruit can actually be included in your diet. We'll talk about blood sugar, insulin, fat burning, and I'm going to give you some of my takes on the best fruits that actually do support weight loss and overall health. Let's dive into today's video.
FitFatherProject.com.
All right, so to first discuss this topic on is fruit bad for weight loss, we need to look at the overall big picture of weight loss in general. On the nutrition side of things, we know that weight loss is driven primarily by our nutrition. Good sleep and exercise absolutely help. We want a well-rounded weight loss plan. Nutrition, though, is key because when we're trying to lose weight, we're trying to create a calorie deficit, meaning we are burning more calories than we're ingesting every single day. And during that deficit, when we've burned more than we've intaked, that is where weight loss is created. It is laws of physics, laws of thermodynamics. This is how things work. And this is also why you see people lose weight on a McDonald's diet. They burn 2,500 calories per day. They eat 3 600-calorie Big Macs. They're in a calorie deficit. They lose weight. This is also why we see people lose weight on fruitarian diets. There are people that legitimately eat 20 bananas a day, and they're burning more calories than that, so they do lose weight. There are pure fruitarians that still lose weight. So it almost like begs the question, well, what about the sugar? Well, the first thing we need to focus on is the calories. Calories matter tremendously in weight loss. And when it comes to losing weight, it's a lot easier to actually eat cleaner foods, more nutritious foods to pull back the calorie intake than it is to go exercise off the calories, and this is where fruit fits into the equation. Fruit is very nutrient-dense, low-calorie food. A pound of blackberries, a whole pound of blackberries has 200 calories. No one is getting fat eating blackberries. People are getting fat eating processed foods, fast foods, drinking sugary sodas. That's not the same thing as fruit. To put it another way, a whole pound of watermelon is like 150 calories. So the point being is fruit, not a very high calorie food. Now there is a tier list that I'm going to discuss in this video on certain fruits that are better and certain fruits that are a little more energy dense. But first, we can't just focus on, when we're looking at losing weight, on just the calorie thing. Obviously we've displayed that you'd have to eat basically like pounds and pounds. You'd have to eat maybe like 10 pounds of fruit per day of blackberries or whatever to get over your calorie needs. So obviously if you're eating the right kinds of fruits and it's a part of a balanced, sensible approach, you can include fruit while still losing weight. Now, let's get into the sugar thing. A big objection to fruit is, well, fruit has sugar. And sugar is going to spike my blood sugar, which is going to cause insulin to rise. And then my fat burning is going to turn off. Again, the overall big picture here is, yes, that's some of the physiology. However, overall energy intake matters. If you're still burning more calories than you're ingesting, even if you do get a small blood sugar spike, you're still going to be okay. You're going to be burning fats other times, and it's not like there's a little sugar in the blood that all fat burning turns off in general. Again, look at the fruitarians. These are people that eat sometimes 200-300 grams of sugar per day, and they lose weight. Now, when it comes to this, and I'm not suggesting you do that, because fruit obviously has a specific kind of macronutrient profile, typically higher in carbohydrates, higher in fiber, some sugars, very low in protein. There are other foods we can round out a right nutrition plan, but I'm just making the point is that calories matter when it comes to weight loss, and fruit is a lower calorie food relative to the amount of it you can eat. Remember, the 1 pound of blackberries for 200 calories. You'd have to eat a lot of fruit to go over that calorie needs. And the thing is, we can't just look at the calories themselves and the proteins, the carbs, the fats, the macronutrient aspect of food. We need to look at the micronutrients, and fruit is jam-packed with vitamins, minerals, and phytochemicals. These things that don't show up on a nutrition label but have profound benefits on health. Blueberries, for example, have special phytochemicals in them called proanthocyanidins that improve your memory, help prevent Alzheimer's, help fight cancer, lower LDL cholesterol. These are not things you're going to find when looking at a basic nutrition label, but they're in fruits, in their natural state. Stuff we're finding in the environment that humans have been eating for a long, long time. Now, if you're someone who has had great success following a super low-carb ketogenic diet, that is totally fine. The overall story here with fruit is that it doesn't have to be out of your diet to lose weight. You can have a balanced diet where you have some fruits in moderation on occasion, perhaps post-workout, and we'll talk about the best fruits still that I do recommend, and you can lose weight. Or if you really find that you're like, man, Dr. A, I feel like I'm a total sugar addict, fruit actually gives me cravings to eat chocolate and soda later in the day, I just want to get rid of all the fruit, fine. you can proceed on a weight loss journey for you with that type of diet plan. It's not about which types of foods, it's about understanding the mathematics. We do need to have a sense of calories. We need to eat foods that make us feel good with energy, keep us full, and that's actually sustainable over the long haul. So if you are someone who enjoys fruit, then maybe cutting it out completely is not the best idea. Now, a couple other things I want to get into. I want to talk about the fructose aspect because it's a sugar that's naturally found in fruits that a lot of people are scared of because they've heard that it can cause bad health effects like weight gain, accumulation of fat in the liver, insulin resistance on the scale of prediabetes, maybe even diabetes. And I think there's good reason that people are concerned of high fructose intakes, and that's largely because over the last 10-15 years, we've introduced high fructose corn syrup into our diets. This is a processed sugar that comes from corn that has a ton of fructose, and we put this in our candies, in our sodas, and what we found is as fructose intakes have increased dramatically over the last 20 years, so has obesity and metabolic syndrome and heart disease and all these things. So we do have an idea that as fructose intakes get very high, bad things start to happen with our health. And this is because fructose is a unique sugar. It's processed in the liver and it can be converted into fat. And the problem is when fat accumulates in the liver, that turns into something called fatty liver disease. And the liver is essential for your metabolism and a whole bunch of other functions. So when the liver gets gunked up with that, we have a lot of problems, insulin resistance, etc., all the bad stuff we want to avoid. But what's the deal with fruit? Is that the same thing as high fructose corn syrup? Well, it turns out it's not the case. Because when we're getting high fructose corn syrup, let's say from like a 2-liter bottle of soda, we're getting like maybe 40 to 80 grams of fructose, a lot of fructose, basically devoid of any other nutrition besides the sugar in it, that's not keeping us full. That's a much different thing than getting a smaller dose of fructose from fruit mixed in with fiber, vitamins, minerals, etc. It's a different experience for the body. And this is why we consider a healthy sugar in fruit. It's still the fructose molecule that's in the soda, but it's coming in the concert of all the other great nutrition in the fruit that makes it a different experience for the body. So this is essential. The fructose intake that you will get from having a couple pieces of fruit per day may be 5, 10, 15 grams. That's maybe even 20 grams, but that's substantially different than maybe the 80 to 100 grams you might get from drinking a lot of sodas or having a lot of candies. So equating fruit to, and being very concerned about the minimal amount of fructose in fruit relative to what you might get in a lot of processed foods is something we all need to start to get away from. We need to understand that fruit, and even though it has some fructose, can be healthy. Our body is totally built and we can handle fructose in small amounts. In fact, there are even health benefits to having fructose in small amounts. Helps refill glycogen stores in the liver. Preferentially, there's good things. And I also need to say, if you are still concerned about fructose, there's different varieties of fruits that have different levels of fructose. Some fruits like dates, persimmons, bananas have higher levels of fructose than things like blueberries or lemons or grapefruits or kiwis are lower fructose fruits. So this is why we can get lower fructose fruits, just get a little bit of fructose, and it's not going to be a problem for our bodies. It's not the same thing as drinking soda. In fact, they actually just recently had a study where they took 2 groups, and these were healthy men in their 30s. So that is an important thing to know. They put them on matched diets for calories, same amount of calories, and one group got 150 grams of fructose per day, and the other group had a normal amount of fructose in a diet. Let's say somewhere under 30, 40, 50 grams of fructose. And 150 grams of fructose is equivalent to basically eating 20 plus bananas, like around 22 bananas. It's a lot of bananas, way more fructose than most of us would get. And they measured those groups over 8 weeks of a tightly controlled diet, balanced for calories. And at the end, they measured metabolic markers. How did their cholesterol change, their LDL cholesterol? How did their insulin resistance markers change? How did their weight change? Turned out their weight didn't change at all. There was no difference in their metabolic markers. And this is not to say that high fructose intakes like that are healthy. It's just that they're not as harmful as a lot of us believe. We're going to have like a little bit of fructose from some fruit, and young healthy men who are on calorie balanced diets, who don't have metabolic diseases, can tolerate that amount of fruit. That's what we can reasonably conclude from that study. My point of sharing this is that's an extreme example. So we don't need to be as worried about you having 5, 10 grams of fructose from your favorite piece of fruit. So fructose, not good, especially in high fructose corn syrup and processed foods, but a little bit of fructose in fruit, not a big deal. Now, if you are addicted to sugar, again, I want to really reiterate this. If you're addicted to sugar and you feel like you want to get it out of the diet, then it is a good idea to scale back on carbohydrates in general. Our Fit Father and Fit Mother Project programs are balanced eating plans where we're definitely on the lower carb side of things. We're not saying you can't have fruit sometimes. We're not saying you can't have some sprouted bread for a sandwich, but we're definitely saying it's probably not a good idea to have 4 cups of white rice and eat 2 pineapples after your workout. Probably not the best idea. It's all about moderation. It's all about balance. And quite frankly, a lot of these foods, we look at them. We know they're full of life. They're very good for our bodies. So the fructose thing in moderation, not a big point here. Now, when it comes to the best kinds of fruits, I think there is a hierarchy when it comes to losing weight and health benefits. All kinds of berries are fantastic. I've cited blackberries a couple times because they're low in calories relative to how much you can eat. They're full of fiber. They're full of phytochemicals. Blueberries, amazing. Strawberries, if they're organic, all these berries probably should be organic, and I'll talk about that aspect in just a second. Important when it comes to fruit. All the berries are very good. Kiwi fruit has a ton of benefits. A lot of great research on it for all sorts of things. Hair, skin, nails, memory, anti-cancer effects. Another very great fruit. You want to actually eat the skin with that because that actually has health benefits, a lot of the fiber of that. Apples are really great. They have a unique kind of fiber in them called pectin that feeds your gut bacteria, and they actually don't raise your blood sugar spikes that much. And they're great. You know, the old saying, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. There's wisdom in that. Very helpful there. Other fruits that I like, I think melons are wonderful. You can have melons and the calorie load of, like, again, a melon, 150 calories for like a pound of melons. So you can have these things. A couple of notes I would say here. More of like, there's a lot of fruits that are good. The fruits that I would probably be a little more wary of are dried fruits, like dried apricots and raisins. They're very condensed. You could certainly eat a lot of calories of a whole package of raisins, so that's something that's like a lot of concentrated sugar when fruits are dried. I would say things like dates and persimmons, these very sweet fruits that are very dense, are probably where you can get into more trouble than some of these more watery fruits. Overall, find fruits you love, enjoy them in moderation. That's pretty much the thing here. They can be in your diet when it comes to weight loss. It's almost always a good idea to buy organic fruit when possible. There are pesticides that are on these fruits, especially non-organic ones, and they can, with things like berries that have a very thin skin, seep into the fruit, and they do have documented bad health effects. Whereas something like, let's say, a watermelon or a cantaloupe that has a very rough, dense skin where it's not touching it, or something like a banana that has a peel that you come off, might not be as important if you're on a budget to buy organic, but organic, by and large, is going to be a better way to get your fruit. So in a nutshell, enjoy fruit in moderation. And when it comes to digestion, if you're a person that feels like you have digestive issues when you have fruit, try sticking to a mono fruit meal. So picking one fruit when you do have a snack of fruit. So if you have apples, just enjoy some apples. If you have oranges, have 2 oranges. If you're having berries, have berries. And the reason this is important is because different fruits have different sugar compositions and different water compositions. So you can really tell the difference between what a banana is like versus a watermelon. Watermelon, mostly water. Banana, very dense. These things don't exactly mix well in the stomach, and they can cause GI upset for some people. So people who feel like they eat fruit and they have GI upset, then it might be a good idea to just stick to one basic type of fruit. You can Google or YouTube food combining if you want to learn more about that. And this is something you can definitely experiment with. And one other thing I would say is fruit is very fast digesting. So it could be something that would be beneficial maybe before exercise if you want to get a quick meal in, but you don't want to have a huge heavy meal sitting in your stomach. And on the flip side of that, because fruit is so fast digesting, having it after a meal, despite the fact that a lot of people consider it a very healthy dessert, is not necessarily the best idea. When you have a lot of foods that are higher in fat and like a lot of dense foods. Let's say you had your normal dinner meal. Let's say it was like chicken, rice, broccoli, some avocado, or that's your dinner. Having fruit on top of that doesn't exactly mix well in the stomach because you have a very complex meal that's going to take a while to get through. Whereas fruit, when eaten on an empty stomach, can get through the stomach and the digestive tract very quickly in a matter of hours, as opposed to something like a ribeye steak, which may take, a whole day or so. So the food transit time is important. Fruit is best on an empty stomach or before meals. It will help your digestion. Overall though, calories are essential for weight loss. If you want help with this stuff, if you want the ability to actually enjoy a balanced, sensible, healthy nutrition plan that's not overly restrictive, scroll below in the description. If you're a man, get our one-day weight loss meal plan for men. We'll show you exactly what to eat for breakfast, lunch, snack, and dinner. And if you're a woman watching our channel, we have our free Fit Mom Jumpstart link below that also gives you our meal plan, walks you through all the simple recipes, and our free workout. All that's in the description. Overall, thank you for being here, my friend. I hope you can go forward with a sensible, balanced, healthy nutrition plan. My team and I would love to help you. And if you're not subscribed to our channels, hit the subscription button below. We have literally hundreds of videos just like this across the Fit Father Project and the Fit Mother Project YouTube channels. And please hit the thumbs up like button. It helps this video spread across YouTube, get to more people who need to hear this critical information. And my team and I truly appreciate it. We'll see you around our channels, my friend, and I'll talk to you very soon.